Has anyone?
Ben, listen, man, you can come hang out anytime.
Was that Ben? I'm not looking at the screen. Was he helping me out?
Oh God, now Russ is so loud. May God help us all.
Ben is literally like notorious for being the ecosystem helper. I think I can't tell you how many times I've seen him like chatting with people, just helping them out for whatever reason, and like Ben really is that.
True.
We
He's
need
a part
to.
of every Discord.
I'm not even lying. I'll see someone will ask for advice on Twitter, and it'll be like not even crypto, and I'll see Ben come in there and be like, yeah, man, I'll help you fix your VCR. Like I'm just Ben for the win. So I mean, true. We need more
Ben's
helpers.
a perfect example of this community and like how helpful and nice and everybody is.
Love you too, Ben. You are the personification of what this good crypto community should be and is actually. So I don't know, Ben, you're one of a kind. So I don't want to, I can't just toss you into a people group there.
Wait. Did you just catch that Holly's up in here? She actually stayed up. Could we get a round of applause for Holly right now?
Holly is a trooper
the out of the UK.
Hero of our generation.
Hanging late hour in the UK right now. All right, Holly, she's typing. Hell yeah.
Holly.
Oh yeah.
Are we live on Twitch?
We might be near each other.
And can you hear everyone?
Hey, Ben's from the UK too. Okay, so we do have some of our UK fam in here today.
We are. Okay, thank you, Holly. All right.
That's awesome.
So
Norway, that's awesome.
Mr. Bryan, actually, if you can see, are you viewing my stream?
Oh, let me. Sorry, I was looking at the chat.
Yeah, if you watch.
Oh wait, I do see it. Yep. I do see it.
So basically, I am your driver. Tell me what to do, and I'm going to try to anticipate your thoughts. But sometimes it doesn't work. And they're like, no, go back a slide. That one. So I'll try to vibe with you.
It's not unlike like a comedy show I'm a part of that we do in New York, where we draw live to stand-up comedy, and we have to kind of anticipate and respond in real time with our illustrations.
Yeah. Well, with that said, can we get a little background? I think that's a great segue. I actually have a Wikipedia article on you.
Oh, here we go. Yes.
Yeah. So it says I grew up in Omaha, Nebraska.
Okay. Did they spell your name right? No, they did.
Yeah. So yeah, my backstory is I've been in animation since college, which was, let's see, what does that article say? Oh, it doesn't have a year. Okay, good. A while ago, 2007, I went to University Arts, and then after that, I worked in fashion advertising at first. I went then to kind of toy commercials and music videos, and then kind of jumped over to television animation. I worked on some, like you see there, The Life and Times of Tim. I worked on an MTV series called Grow Code and Guy Code. And then I did all these other like little side projects for fun and various things. And so, yeah, I just, during that time, I worked all these TV jobs. And then on the side, I kind of tried to pick up as many different projects as I could. Yeah. What you're showing now is this gallery work I did for the last, I'd say like 5 to, and I was like, well, I don't even need to do the physical thing. I can just make stuff for digital now. And so that kind of opened up a whole new world, and it kind of let me kind of start fresh with and kind of develop new styles that weren't necessarily, some of them take in some of those ideas and looks and styles I was playing with before, but it also kind of opened me up to like trying to learn more three-dimensional stuff and just kind of learning how to make fun loops and taking different techniques I've used over the years and kind of bringing them together.
So can I ask you what your favorite thing about, and then contrast from, I guess, what you do for your day job and then crypto art, like what's your favorite thing that crypto art does for you? And I'm going to try not to like lead the question or but like how, go ahead.
Well, first, it lets me do things animated, which is my passion. But what I really enjoy about it is the feedback and community of it. Because I was doing these gallery shows, and you sell a piece, and the owner doesn't have to tell you who they are. Occasionally, they'd reach out and say, "Hey, I bought this piece from you." But a lot of times, don't know where those pieces ever went. And so it was always like it was, and I also, the shows are out in LA. I live in New York,
Mm-hmm.
and so I couldn't like go and experience it in the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I feel like crypto art now, I get to release stuff and I get to be a part of the release with the community. I get to connect with people, and I get this a level of connection with collectors and artists
Yeah.
that I never had before. And so that like is immediately more enticing than the traditional world.
I just want to segue because nobody really knows how we met, but there was a piece of art, and it was like the last piece on Rarible, and it was these little falling googly eyes. And
Yeah.
I'm like, that is my childhood right there. Like it just, and then I looked at your style, and I was like, this is fantastic. Like, and it's so cohesive. It really just like paints a picture of a personality. And honestly, so when I reached out, I wasn't sure you were going to actually respond, but like you did with like much gratitude, which was just so rare. And so I guess I'm really grateful for those kind of connections, because honestly, I don't think I would have ever had an opportunity to, even discover that I liked art before. And I told Bryan when we originally met that he was my second crypto artist that I actually liked. First was Stena Jones, and they actually had you guys had some correspondence too, which is actually kind of funny.
Yeah, she's the first NFT I ever got, because she was giving away these heart NFTs, and so that was the very first one I ever got in my wallet. So she like started my collecting career.
Yeah, and that's this is just like such a tight knit culture almost, that's kind of like being birthed into this digital world, and being a part of it, even and especially being early, is like super super exciting. And that's why honestly like when I saw your stuff and then I saw your website, I started telling everyone, like, guys, this is a unicorn, man. Like nobody knows him yet. We need to buy his stuff. Because I was like, someone of your caliber, it was just kind of like, at least, and the space is still so young. So I say like 6 months ago, but like whenever I discovered it, I was just like, oh man, like, and then like I honestly went to try and like sell anything. And I'm like, I can't. Like, I would have to be in a real pinch to ever want to like try and flip one of your works. Like, anyway, so
I feel that way about most of the art I buy. I've only resold like one piece, and I think it's because No Shot gave me an offer, and I like him as a person, so I was like, all right, I'll sell it to him.
Yeah.
But for the most part, like, yeah, I don't have. I like holding it, and I like collecting it, and I don't have that flipper mentality yet.
You'll get it. No, I'm kidding.
I get more excited
We'll
about
train
like
you.
displaying. I'm more excited about like showing the art I have and helping out other people. It's like it's a cool cycle that we have in this whole community, where we each.
You have any favorite artists
to each other?
Sorry
I bought one
Brian.
today for no problem. I actually just bought a piece by Anne Ahoy earlier today. It's the second piece I've gotten of hers. She makes really
want to hear something crazy?
Work.
I actually just spoke to Anne on Twitter.
Oh, really?
A couple days ago. Yeah, Anne sent in her application, so she's going to be coming on shortly too.
Oh,
so little secret announcement for the art crowd here. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think
sneaks.
I certainly gravitate towards the more colorful psychedelic kind of stuff. I really like Jan Frula, I think is how you say his name.
Yeah,
he makes really beautiful stuff.
Agreed.
And so I think that there's just when I joined a year ago, I feel like as an unlockable content, so anybody could actually like open it up and figure out how I did it. So that was kind of a fun
and those little things make it so much more special to me. Like, and so like I definitely appreciate it. And so it's this backstory, man. Like, I think that's what really gives these things, like Amarita got to talk about her art, and basically like it just gave so much depth to the piece. And people are always talking about it's just a 2D image on your computer, like people can copy it, but like I feel like there's something that happens when you buy it. You feel like you're a part of that artist's journey. When you have like, does that make sense? Like I feel like
I agree. I think it's go on.
No, it's just to me it creates some sort of like bond to I don't know. It's one of those things like you don't really understand it until like you actually experience it. Because I didn't care about art at all. I was the type of person who would have basically went to IKEA and just settled for whatever they say is cool for that year, and maybe I'll just trade it out for another year. But I really do hope for the future one day, like each one of my walls has a digital frame, that looks just like a real piece of art, but it has like that's like I got my Brinkman wall over here, and I got like just, but it really is like, and strangely enough, like I feel like your art expresses me a bit, like just because like I feel such a draw to it, like, and I don't, and I don't feel like you would get to feel that like the buffet per se. I don't feel like that opportunity would have happened without crypto and without like the whole playing field being like evened. What I'm saying? Like anyone can really, jump into this game now, and I hope the user experience becomes better and better, but it really gives anyone around the world the same opportunity as the next guy, and you don't have to kind of like work for the man and pump out these, deadlines and, just things that really cause you stress and actually harm the creative process. Like I can tell like this was like you weren't like stressing through these things. Like it just feels like um
It was a fun, yeah,
yeah, you
as you
took
can
your
see, like the
time and
idea
you
came
really
and then
enjoyed yourself.
yeah,
And if you want
I
to go
kind of
into it, you can
like,
explain it and I won't
yeah,
interrupt. I'm sorry.
well, oh, no worries. I think what you said is amazing, and it definitely nails it. Um, for, and like you're saying, with something like the backstory here, uh, when I make these behind the scenes, and you're talking about like why you buy art and why it connects, I think having a backstory, whether it's how it was made or what it means, that gives a piece, something that you can then share when you show it to somebody. You can go, hey, here's this cool looking
Mhm.
piece, but I know a little bit more about it than just what you see visually. And I think that is something that connects with people in a way. And I think that lets the pieces kind of, like you were saying, connect and become a part of their own, you know,
It feels weird. I feel like I'm stealing
mind in a
I feel like
sense.
I'm stealing your DNA somehow. I'm just borrowing it, bro, and just,
Yeah.
showcasing it in my house. Uh,
But like, so like with these, I looked at Terra Virtua,
mhm.
and I automatically gravitated toward the site because I'm a fan of movies, and I saw that you
Mm,
guys were doing all this cool movie stuff,
mhm.
and I saw this cool fan cave stuff, and I really love this idea of virtual environments. And so I was like, well, if I had a virtual environment that I could sit in and watch movies in, what would I want on the wall? And I would want to, and so I kind of started thinking about, I would want to be in what feels like a movie theater lobby.
Mhm.
And so then I came up with these sketches, and then it becomes more of like a puzzle of like, how will I achieve these ideas? And so then it just becomes, and I don't always know how I'm going to go about it. Like this one, I started playing around with using cloners and then kind of turning them into these metaball things to get this like liquid effect. And it's like a lot of it's me just kind of learning, and I kind of create these puzzles for me to learn through to
Wow.
get
That
better.
liquid, man, and the shine. Wow. Honestly,
So
seeing it go from this to this is like, because I haven't looked at this. This is the first time. I probably should have. Like,
it's all good.
but this is like, honestly, that's really, really. You just don't.
But that's like all it is. It's just a bunch of balls, and then you
Yeah.
kind of meld them together, and it creates that kind of liquid feel. And so, like, there's a bunch of different ways you can go about doing it that like would feel like real
Oh,
liquid. But this is
yeah.
kind of like a fun,
And the fizzy
um,
pops. I love
yeah,
the
little
fizzy
those,
pops.
yeah, those are all hand drawn, frame by
Wow.
frame or whatever. But and then
Can
used
I
in a
ask,
particle
like,
system.
how long does this take, start to finish? Like, just say one of them. How long did one of them take? So this, so
I
from
feel like I did
idea.
one. Well, from idea to complete. Well, I had the idea, and then I kind of jumped around on each one. But I would say like each one maybe took a day or so.
Mm-hmm,
But then all together, the whole thing maybe took like a week or so, maybe.
mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, it's kind of like, I work on it a little bit. I think about it. I come
Yeah.
back to it. I add a little
So
more. I ran into some issues of like trying to figure out how to make it so these uh, cups spun seamlessly and
yeah,
didn't and repeated right, and so then you hit some snags. And
yeah.
so I was find myself, because I create these problems I don't necessarily know the easy solution to.
Yeah.
I start getting stuck, and then I have to like go watch some tutorials and come back. And so like if I knew exactly how to achieve it from the start, I'm sure I could have made it much faster.
Yeah.
But I don't find that as fun as like overcoming the challenges. And so
Right. I actually like know what you do during the day, and is it a documentary, a mini like it's like 10 minutes, I can't remember, a little series where it shows how actually under the wire you guys are on these animations during your day job. And so I'm not asking about that. I'm actually asking about, like, do you have to force yourself to be patient on something like this? Because you said this takes a week, and then you're used to cranking things out in like a day. So
yeah, well, I would say like all three of them maybe a week.
Yeah.
But like this one I probably made in like a day, just because I kind of figured it out. But then, there's a lot of like small tweaks, and then getting the bouncing to feel right. It's a lot of back and forth. Yeah, Ben's right. During the day, I'm working on the Tonight Show. So, I have to work in my evenings and nights for the most part, and the weekends. But like for this one, like the Terra Virtues, I took what I had originally started with a Prinxieland candy shop box. And then I was like, well, what if I take this really low poly box and I build it into an actual package? And then it kind of ties into what I was also doing with my Nimbuds packaging at the time. And so it kind of has this like feel to it, a little QR code that takes you to some website. I forget. I think it goes to my website. But I don't think anybody's gonna be able to scan it from that angle.
Yeah. Okay. I hope, did you want to touch on anything in this reel? I know I was just kind of scrolling as you were talking, and I wasn't sure if you wanted to actually talk about any actual particular screen here.
Well, I like the popcorn. I kind of really enjoyed how that turned out, because that was just a bunch of simple shapes I made, and then I ran it through this particle system, and it really made it pop. But yeah, it was that's where I started. That was the beginnings of it, and then from there I kind of grew the idea and figured out how to do the other stuff in more of a 3D sense.
Do we want to jump?
Those are just 2D.
Do you want to jump?
Here's a question. Here's a question, real quick. For the ones that you released on Terra Virtua, Bryan, I'm going to put you under a little bit of pressure. Which one is actually your personal favorite?
I think the popcorn, just because if you scroll up, I think that looks like, was it like the blossoms you see in Japan? Like there's something really pretty about how that turned out. Then I just really I felt good about that.
So how do you?
So I do like the liquid. I think that turned out really cool. And the candies feel cool too, because I like the box. Each one has its own little thing that I feel good about, and I like how like I got this like kind of waviness in the thing. But there is something I enjoy about mixing 2-dimensional animation and 3-dimensional animation, and this piece does it where the other two are fully 3D. And so I always feel like I'm doing something special if I can mix the two effectively. It's
really good. I did want to ask. Sorry about the join leave noises. I thought I'd actually fixed that before the stream.
I don't think I heard it.
Oh, is it only coming through mine? Huh. Okay.
Yeah, I think you have to do it. You have to do it on your settings.
I guess it matters because Well, anyway.
Yeah, I think it's per person. Go ahead. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, so I wanted to...
Domino hears it. Yeah, you know what, guys? For everyone listening, sorry, Bryan, real quick. One of our resident Discord helpers, CryptoBlock Dan, he's kind of an expert with this stuff, and we're going to have him jump in here most likely tomorrow and take a peek at it. So if you hear the noises, we're super sorry about that.
Or just stay in here. Don't leave or don't do anything. But the question I wanted to ask was kind of because I'm a bit of a designer. I like to do certain things, UI and stuff. One thing I actually have a really hard time with is actually knowing when something is complete. Like, do you have kind of like that aha moment whenever you feel like you got it right, or do you actually force yourself to move on, or what does that look like?
It depends. Sometimes I need someone to tell me it's finished because I'll overwork something. But this one, I felt it was good when I put them all next to each other and got to watch them all play together, and they all kind of felt connected. And that's why like the lines in the background all connect to each other. And I felt like once the motion and feeling and looping of it looked pleasing, then I felt good about it. But sometimes you have to like take a step back and for a day and then come back to it and look at it.
When I complete a project, I don't know, and I'm really proud of it, I'll somehow catch myself staring at it like for like 10 minutes. And my wife would come in and be like, seriously, we got to move on with our lives. I'm like, let me relish. Let me, But like, do you like, so like right now, I'm pretty like, I'm in like a bit of a trance, like looking at this. But do you do that? Like, so when you complete something like this, do you just kind of like sit back in your chair and just stare for a minute and like, because it is an achievement, like, and do you kind of let yourself go, like, and I wasn't sure if that was just me.
I wouldn't say I step back and I stare at it, but mostly it's to look for things that
you don't
mistakes,
just ever appreciate it, like, because it's like.
But I do watch things over and over.
Yeah.
Trying to, because it's easy to miss something at a first glance.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there's definitely times where I've created some pieces that have hypnotized me a little bit of, virtual reality.
I do have to like this. No one ever gives me an opportunity to share, but I love this floor lighting. I don't. I think like I don't. I got to give the guy credit. We must have a guy who's dedicated to lighting, and I need to meet him. We have a whole lot of developers, and if you're listening, fantastic job. So sorry, I had to break away.
It's got some cool motion blur and stuff. I've tried to turn it up to the max, and my computer can't run it at max quality.
But it just makes it feel
it's really impressive,
so real. So yeah, don't let me, talk about Terra Virtua anymore. This is about your art. So we're at the soda. Like, what? I mean, just give us the top down. We talked about a little bit. Yeah. But you go ahead. Take away.
Oh, well, I was going to say, part of the idea, I like to use certain color schemes, but I specifically chose red, green, and blue for these because those are kind of like the RGB screen colors, digital colors of like a television screen. And so like in the same idea as like watching on TV, a movie, or so that kind of tied into the color choices. And this one, soda, I feel like is just, you always had that Coca-Cola red feeling to it. And so it lent itself for that, especially because it made it so like the soda stream kind of bounces off of it.
I've never been able to say I feel like I can taste an NFT, but I'm there right now.
Yeah.
Dude, I think it's the fizzy pops. Like I really got to give you some super props for these fizzy pops, man. Like, because that's at the movies. I really like.
Oh my god! I never actually noticed that. Actually,
right? Those little fizzy pops that hit your nose. It's just an experience, and I appreciate that detail so much. So anyway.
Yeah, no, especially like right now where it's been so long since we've been at the movies. There's something that really,
exactly.
Just having this like experience, brought back warm memories.
Okay, well, with that. I could spend all night there. Oh, I like the way it looks from the angle there. It's cool.
Yeah.
There we go. So what do you need with your soda? Next is
yeah. Domino's got some great questions. Or Don Emo. I sorry if I'm mispronouncing. I was just looking at it really quickly. He's got some great questions for Brinkman after you guys chat. By the way, they've been dropping some really cool questions.
Yeah, he's bringing up the string background, which is a callback to some of my previous pieces. Which usually involve like things dangling from wires, and it's kind of tied into this idea of connection. But for this one, I kind of took them and I made them kind of a flat white, almost like what you'd see like as like tape on a wall, where it was more of like a streamer, and almost kind of lends itself more to like this idea of like film strips and stuff. But yeah, so this one I kind of did a more like subdued version of it, because normally I have all these like color wires everywhere, which I love doing, but I wanted to like make sure the colors of the items popped in the foreground and so this time those kind of wires just kind of sit as a backdrop.
Wow, no, I'm that actually is a good point, and I wouldn't have actually noticed it. So I'm still a new collector, so don't judge me yet. So that's cool. I do like that. I love that you have carryover between each one of your pieces. It's incredible.
Yeah, and it was fun. It was fun to build it in a way so that no matter which orientation you put them next to each other, the strings all
I think the
connect
question
at the same point.
everyone is asking is how many calories are we looking here? Like we got.
Oof. Well, especially because it's unlimited.
Oh,
That's
no.
not,
Probably a lot.
Best not to
Yeah.
look.
Oh goodness.
This is
We'll
my
have to have
this is
some-
honestly my favorite piece that you put out, the Terra Virtues. I love it.
Don't you
I love
own
it.
this
Thanks.
one? I think you bought it, right?
Yeah, I actually own a Terra Virtues piece, and for those that are newly coming in here and joining, I'm a sucker for branded type stuff.
Yeah.
I used to work over at OpenSea, and I have tons of collectibles that are OpenSea branded, and I've started to pick up. I'm actually pretty done now, but I picked up some co-branded stuff, even on OpenSea that we released very early in our days. Some OpenSea VFlex. We had. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to get my hands on a Bitmax VFlex, but yeah, I mean stuff. Especially when it comes into art, I just think it's super cool. It just really defines the space of working together. You're obviously the content creator. You're the one with the imagination, and then you bring our brand and kind of make a pun on the brand name into it. It was a no brainer for me. I thought it was super cool.
Yeah, I've always been a fan of what it's called wacky.
On the walls, I zoomed in on the art. I zoomed in on the collectibles. We tried to catch Terra Virtua and its quality. Leveling, I guess, whatever word you want to say for it.
Like
Look at the floor, and the lighting. Yeah.
Like we talked about earlier, like I don't think anyone told them to stop. I think they're actually still working on this. It's like, where's their stopping point? They keep improving on this one.
I love the lighting. It just feels so soft, everything about it.
Yeah, and the little elevator music.
Yeah.
Because I got in trouble for being a DJ in the previous ones of these, so this is like now
I remember that.
It's my default. I just default back to this, so it's nice, soothing. It's just right. So, we looked at that. The third thing here we go. There, and now the marketplace.
So you can kind of see how the wires connect.
Exactly. Okay, I want to go start here, and then actually I'll go here. So this is the actual marketplace. I need to paste in the channel all the links that we have.
I can drop some links.
And even though it's in USD, you can spend Ethereum.
It's very true. The further or future updates will have the option to display in your preferred currency, which will be really fun. Yeah. I mean, I won't go into updates because that's not what this one's about, but lots to look forward to.
I mean, basically, for those that don't know, we have a partnership with Utrust, which allows us to be compatible with any cryptocurrency out there. So it really opens up people that might not be ETH fanboys or fangirls out there. They might want to use other cryptocurrencies from other blockchains, for instance. So Utrust makes that possible for everybody that wants to get involved and buy an art piece. Say there's someone outside of the Ethereum ecosystem that comes in and love Bryan's work, they'll be able to do that, and we'll be able to convert that on the back end very easily. So it's a really cool partnership for sure.
Yeah. I just did there was just an interview with MakerDAO yesterday about DAI, and I think that's just such a cool alternative if you don't want to worry about the fluctuations.
So I guess this is just another way you can experience your art. Sorry, I'm just like clicking through. Let me know if you want me to stop on anything or go back to anything. I want everyone to get
along for the ride.
I want everyone to get the full Bryan Brinkman experience. Anyone that came in late. Can we go to community questions? I think that's a great segue. I'll just browse around. I'll fill up my cart so you guys can't have any opportunities to buy. The mints, there's not a whole lot that's minted here.
No,
so
there is
and
not.
They're priced really well. Ben wants to
each
know
one's
why are you so nice? That's a great starting question. Why are you so nice?
Yeah.
Can you answer that one?
I guess I was just raised nicely. At Nebraska, you grow up in the middle of the country and you become humbled. When you live in the middle of nowhere, and then you go to the big city and you're like, oh, Okay.
Denim Tiger was asking about any edible type candies. Are you going to be releasing any edible type candies?
That would be cool. It's not legal in New York
how
yet,
you answer
but
this.
soon. I can't wait. That'd be. I think there's probably an untapped career in THC artwork branded stuff.
Oh. I do think
as it grows.
There is a population, because I know there's a lot of millennials here, and where you have millennials, there you also have marijuana. So I'm just
For
saying
sure.
that
Well, I mean, it's legalized in a lot of areas of the United States now too. I mean, I think governments are starting to figure out, wait a minute, if there's so many people doing this, and we just make it we make it legal anyway.
What have you done?
We're going to collect an arsenal of tax money on it. Hey, listen, governments are trying to buy Brinkman's art too. They want extra cash. What do you got to do?
Yeah,
tax the people. No, I'm kidding.
I think it's
I'll just say that there's a reason I gravitate towards the psychedelic crypto art.
Yes, Confessions with Brinkman.
Confessions with Brinkman. Oh. No, seriously. So we actually have a question from Mendelstation here. Would love to know what software you use.
Oh yeah, totally. Well, for the most part, I use After Effects, Cinema 4D. I think all of these are made in After Effects and Cinema 4D. And Photoshop, like the dots on that and the stripes, that was done using Photoshop brushes from like Kyle Brush. And, in the background, it's hard to tell because of the compression, but there's like a felt texture to the background of it. And so that's a big mixture. Sometimes with like the 2D animated stuff, like those pops there, I'll use Adobe Animate, which used to be called Adobe Flash. But that's a great like vector-based animation tool with like onion skinning and stuff. And then sometimes for my early sketches, even though the one for this one I did on like a notebook page, I like to use like Procreate and stuff like that just to kind of do quick sketches and stuff.
I was going to scroll back to your
so hopefully that answers it. But
yeah,
and then like even with After Effects, like some of the stuff, there's some plugins like particular trap code and stuff like that allows you to do some of these like particle systems.
So would you consider yourself a partial developer? Because like you get all these plugins and stuff. Now you're getting real technical on me. Like I didn't know artists had like this crazy.
Well, skill. I wouldn't say that. I'm not developing the plugins. I'm just purchasing and using them. They're just additional tools. Like DLC for making art.
We can put those on the blockchain next.
Yeah, well, that's like my recent drop I did with Manny Morales with the Nimbuds. He has experience doing scripting and coding for After Effects, and so we were kind of able to utilize that knowledge in order to build that drop that had this kind of visual coding basis. Mm-hmm. So there is a connection, and you do see there are some like super rare artists that are developers that work in some of these plugins, and so you can kind of see the crossover happening there.
I could see that. Someone asked about your flying blue folders. How were those flying blue folders animated? They look amazing in Terra Virtua.
Yeah. So that was a drop on. I think you showed it earlier on my crypto art page.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was looking.
Those were animated in Adobe Animate. I keep saying Flash out of habit, but it changed to Animate a couple years ago. And so I drew that. There might be on my sent page a behind the scenes that you could go to.
Oh,
on
sorry.
That one.
I was looking at all these like memes. Jeff, quit with the gifts, man. You're distracting me.
But yeah, I think if you go to the top tab, the making of one.
Oh, this one.
Yep.
Okay.
That one, and then go to my name over on the left.
I hope you give me 10 stars after this, man. I'm really nervous.
Yeah, for sure. You're doing great. But if you go to like my sent page, or so I think if you click on my name in the left corner, and you scroll down, you might be able to find the folders one.
Okay.
Let's see. There's the googly eyes you mentioned.
Yeah. So cool.
Let's see. Did I make one? I think I made one. There it is. Keep going down a little bit. Folders.
Wait. Where is it?
Go up. There they are. Yeah. So this one. So if you scroll down, you can kind of see the process I went through. Where,
Oh, that's cool.
and so this was just kind of based around the fact that I was becoming overwhelmed with my folders. But you can kind of see, like, it starts with a simple sketch, and then you kind of work it up. And so once you get the motion, and then you can kind of like fill it in. And then I took it and I used a particle system, which you could see like the beginnings of there. And then you take that animation loop, you put it in the particle system, and then you can kind of build this thing.
Have you ever?
It was kind of inspired by the old After Dark flying toasters.
You would these like I just see like a partially animated like story. Like I would love to like have a book that you illustrate and you actually like have like a story along. Like I really feel like that would be just so cool to have a story with GIFs along the side that you've created or like so.
Yeah,
like, it's just
that's
like
true. Yeah.
That'd be really neat. Like in
there is something very I guess cathartic, is that the word? That when you finish a piece, that you can go back and reflect on it and kind of like look at the steps you took and reanalyze that and like figure out what you learned along the process. And I always find that aspect really fun. It is an extra like step before you can release it, but
does it help you refine?
It lets me understand the piece more.
Do you refine your skills that way? Like, does that help you kind of break it down each project? And I just feel like you become more proficient.
Yes, for sure. And it lets me just kind of backtrack, because I have crazy ADHD brain, and I'm always like going from one project to the next and bouncing back and forth. And it's nice to like go back and be like, okay, here's where I made these choices that at the time I didn't think were much, but they actually led to this like overall thing. And so that a lot of the pieces I release come from ideas about the community and crypto art space and making art. I love, I've always gravitated towards movies and music about and art about the creative process. Movies about making movies, music about writing songs. And so I think that has always influenced me in a sense, whereas like this piece, it's just all about how folder structure is important to the creative process, because you have to keep yourself organized or you're going to get lost essentially. And so like it's interesting, and like it starts with that idea of like, okay, I want to make a flapping folder, and like, what is it going to mean, and why am I coming up with it? And then it's like, it's sometimes some people will say like, oh, you shouldn't explain your art, but I like to explain my art because I like to understand my art myself.
What's the point of not? I don't understand. Why would they? I'm a little bit confused by that. Why would no one want, like? I feel like it adds like so much
Well, I think
value.
some people like the mystery, but I would rather, and some people want like the observer to discover it themselves.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I do remember.
Or like impart their own perspectives on it. And I think some art is good for that. And then some art, a lot of my art comes from a personal place where I'd rather people understand why I made it,
No, I like that for sure. I want to ask a little broad question, like basically, where do you see the crypto space going from here? Like, what are you most excited for? And what would make you really want to go out and like tell the world that this exists, because it really is hard to kind of like teach people, but once they get it, they're in, so like,
I agree. I think, I was asked this question like a week or two ago on Josie's thing too. And I brought up Terra Virtua because I think in my opinion, the use case of crypto art and collecting, whether it's crypto art or these, NBA cards or whatever, you want to show it to people. You want to say, hey, look what I have. And I see that, that's what museums do. That's what, you see at auction houses. And I see what you guys are starting with Terra Virtua as the beginning of this idea of having our own virtual spaces to show off collections. And whether that's in VR or AR or video screens on your wall, a lot of why I collect art is because I want to show it to people. And I want to say, hey, look at this awesome artist that I really like. They're doing something exciting. Owning art's one thing, but sharing the art you own is the next step. And I see that as being the future of what I think all this stuff will lead to,
Yeah.
whether it's in these virtual metaverses or who knows what will come next. But, you know, I think it's all about like, how can you share
that
what
immersive
you
experience.
like with other people?
Yeah, and that too, for sure. Like, and we see.
I got a question for Brinkman too. Actually, speaking of what's coming next, and I ask all artists that come on and have a chat with us. So we've seen more of these movie-esque type of artworks. The question is, are you planning on continuing this collection in the future?
Of my pop culture art?
Perhaps, you know, I think more so leaning towards
of this actual.
Yeah, as you bring more collections onto Terra Virtua in the future.
I have considered expanding the unlimited refills to other food types, and
nice.
But I haven't fully wrapped my mind around it yet. But I do like this idea of continuing a series of things falling into things. But I also see, you know, my pre-crypto career of pop culture movie 3D cells, you know, lends itself in the same vein to this movie centric platform. And so, you know, I might go down one path, or I might branch off and try and do, you know, artwork based on pop culture, because I do enjoy doing that, and I still do it to an extent. I just I have a piece next month in a Willy Wonka themed art show, and then I have a piece in a Nintendo NES themed art show that's going to be like a screen print. And so I even while I'm certainly most of my energy is going towards crypto art, I just love keeping myself challenged by doing different styles and mediums as much as I can, so that I'm just, you know, I just love creating to an extent. It's just, I have a tough time when any sort of like thing inspires me. They're like, hey, we're doing a Willy Wonka theme show. I love Willy Wonka. What can I make? You know? And so it's very easy to get like lost in those.
You want to do it all, right?
Yeah. Like, well, it's just, you know, it's so inspiring. You know, if you're inspired, it's hard to stop that drive to create. Mm-hmm. And this was a really fun one because like I was learning how to use physics and like bouncy wires, which was a first. And so you can kind of see like this was made for Coldy had a cat charity art show event in CryptoVoxels. And so this was like, again, it's like I come up with an idea and I have no idea how to make it, and then I just spend like a week trying to learn how to do it.
I love it, man.
So,
do you think?
But it turned out really fun.
Do you think crypto art has like cranked up your creative output? Is that
for sure?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm always, you know, in terms of my day-to-day life, I work on television shows that air 5 to 6 days a week, so I'm constantly being creative. There's my cat. He's a cool cat. But so I'm always kind of like challenged in that sense of constantly creating. But crypto art has allowed me to kind of create in a different realm. And I don't know if it's entirely crypto art's doing, but also just being quarantined and working from home. I've, you know, like I was talking at the beginning of this, I used to do a monthly comedy show and do all these other projects and stuff. And like now I'm just home all the time. And so what am I going to do? I'm going to make art all the time, because that's just, you know, it comes second nature. And plus having this community of people to connect with gives me something that I'm like sorely lacking now, because I haven't seen anybody in real life in so long.
Right. I wanted to ask a question, because you're talking about like it connecting you to your like the immunity and stuff. Do you know your biggest fan? Like, are you, because you know how the blockchain works, you know, like unless you've opted into being anonymous, normally, especially if you have OpenSea, you can just see who's owns this. They use their name. You can find them in Discord. Ben, you know, has it been? It's been.
Certainly when I got started, there was 2 collectors that bought up almost all the stuff I made for the first couple of months, which was Jim, who is a part of like Avastars. He probably owns I think he owns the most of my super rare pieces.
He saw the unicorn before me.
He's a clever dude. And then Whale Shark
Yeah.
bought quite a bit of my stuff early on too. And that
Yeah.
then he made his vault in this community, and I got to kind of learn more about the space through that. And then over the time, there's people that have purchased like my candy shop, and people that have, purchased both my crypto art and then also went out and purchased my physical art. And so, there's certainly a few collectors I know that have quite a few pieces, but I do feel good about having just a lot. It does help having someone that you trust,
Yeah.
and you see that in there,
P2P.
because I've spent the whole past year trying to convince a ton of talented artists that this is a great opportunity, and it's so hard to get them to believe.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes time, and
think
now I would say it's changing now that
you think Beeple sales help their decision making? Like, you show them, hey man, this sold for, I don't know, $777,000, and it's digital.
Yeah, well, I try not to say that to people,
You don't
because
want
that's
that
a very
to be their
unrealistic
but
expectation.
you also don't want that to be the reason why you join, right? I mean,
No, yeah. Well, when I was selling my stuff early on, it was selling for what would now be 0.1 or 0.2 for one of ones. So like, and I was like, this is great, because I'm one, no offense to the gallery system, but the galleries take 50% in the real world. And that makes you have to price your stuff either at an unaffordable rate or in a rate that you barely make profit.
Wow.
And so that's always been tough. And so when immediately I was like, well, the galleries in the crypto space take like 10%. That's way better for an artist. And there's the secondary royalties, and there's the connection to seeing who collects. And like, there's so much organically better about crypto art in that sense. And so trying to explain that to people is one thing, but then also like being like, okay, so first you have to download MetaMask, and then and like, it's so hard. And I also, with like Super Rare and stuff like that, you had to do these like video interviews, and most artists are pretty shy and aren't gonna feel comfortable talking about themselves on camera, and so that was a barrier. And so now there's more platforms, and it's easier to get into, and I think now Mark Cuban's in it, so who knows?
Oh yeah, right. Like, and that's what I say. Like, I always tell everyone, like, listen, guys, let's stick together. The mainstream is gonna like flood in, and I don't want us all to get lost. Like, remember the OGs. Let's stick to your ethos, guys. Like, like that's. I feel like I'm running and telling everyone, like, brace for impact. Oh man.
Yeah. Well, and that's also that's something I've over the course of the year I've gravitated towards doing events that bring people outside of Twitter, whether it's going into a crypto voxel gallery or coming to my Scent page and kind of taking a step away to like live in the art for a moment. I found that to be very effective. And I think, it's just been interesting. I'm just looking at my screen.
Dude, are you getting
that moose?
Like, oh, the moose.
It's weird. That moose, the MLB bought the rights to that. So now that piece is still available somewhere, but the MLB can do whatever they want with that image. We'll see what they do.
So
I don't know. They'll probably go into a vault.
We're about 3 minutes to the top of the hour. I want to give you the floor. Do you ever watch Hot Ones? Like, have you ever watched?
Yeah. And
so I'm totally.
the guy.
I'm totally stealing this from Hot Ones right now. So here's your floor. Here's your chance to say whatever you want. Talk to your fans. Like, go for it. Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
wait, what am I doing?
Yours. No. Sorry. I thought I nailed it. Like, Hot Ones. He basically gives you just the last little snippet of the episode to kind of just shill your wares.
Stuff?
Do whatever you want. This is your moment, your floor. Like, whatever's on your mind. Take away.
Let's see. What am I working on? I have some projects in the works that are pretty exciting. I'm working with Sam Bruckman and the Verdigris Ensemble on a collaboration with a choir and a composer, and that's going to be pretty wild. And then I'm working with Karn 4D on a couple collaborations that involve AI mixed with my animation, and there's going to be a couple other fun collaborations. I feel like this year has really been a year of experimenting and collaborating and kind of just connecting with people. And I find that more rewarding at the moment than, I'm still making a few pieces. I'm planning on having a piece in the 100X district this weekend. I think they'll be on Super Rare, and then I'm going to have like a virtual sculpture in their Decentraland space. So
very cool.
That'll be fun. And so, yeah, there's just a never ending list of things I need to finish. And
where's the Brinkman
really exciting
calendar
stuff
where we can all keep up?
Yeah. Someone, I think, who was it? Somebody was like, you need to make an email list. Josie told me that too. She's like, an email list is where it's at, because then people can like keep up with what you're doing. And she's right, because everything gets lost on Twitter. Sent's really great as a way of keeping up with what I do, but Twitter's the best way probably at the moment.
Cool. Well, I can't say how excited I am to have you on the platform, to have you in this interview, and to have this hour that we've spent together just kind of slotted out to really just to break down the man behind the art. And just can't thank you enough for your time and really just dedication to the ecosystem. So, with that, I don't know if anyone else wanted to say their pieces or
any last questions?
Russ, why don't we exactly, community, everyone here, if you had any last questions for Brinkman, it is a rarity to catch him. He is a busy man. So if you want to drop a question, get a nice personal answer from Brinkman, drop it now. We'll give you 10 to 20 seconds to formulate any questions you might have. But
Bruce
before we
collab,
before
hit me up, Bruce.
Yeah. Oh, that
Thanks,
would be before we release him from this torture with Russ. Let us know if you have any questions.
Oh, and also drop. Did I include your Twitter? Oh, Linktree has your Twitter. So everyone, go out. If you're not following Bryan Brinkman, go ahead and follow him. This is what all the cool event people do. It makes me. This is the first time I got to do it,
but I'll check it out.
So everyone, go follow Bryan on Twitter. If you want to keep up, go through the Linktree. He's always has something cooking. I'm a fan, so do it for that reason.
Let's see my face. My face is out there. I don't know if I can show it on here, but I'm not. My face looks pretty much like my cartoon
man.
Maybe a little less rounded, but I'm gaining some weight, so maybe I'm getting closer to that illustration.
We just need to play some more Population 1. We can lose some more weight together.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I do want to put on record.
Russ is very good at Pop 1.
That Bryan, okay, was it our first game? We played Population 1, and I kid you not, did I revive you once or twice? I think it was once, right?
Yeah, you saved me a few times.
Somehow we won. It was insane. And I was like, that never happens. I was trying to high five him in VR. Just, it's kind of weird and awkward still, but we made it work.
It was cool. Yeah. Russ was my first VR online. What's the word? Partner. Yeah. That's the first time I ever played a VR online. I've played VR before, but I never did an online game.
I'm going to have to tell people that when you get super famous and you lose my number somehow. I'm like, he knows me. I interviewed him one time and he totally knows me. And I was his first Population 1 win and VR player. Yeah.
For sure. Exciting. That was fun. And Russ can tell you after a couple games, I was like, I need to take a break because I started to get really dizzy.
Right. I'm going to add it to your
I can only handle like a half hour of intense parachuting and climbing in VR.
It is intense.
It was awesome, though.
Sure. I can't wait till they dial that in where, it's lighter on your face. Oops, sorry. And, you can
late night.
Sick.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I did start it when I started at late night.
Oh, you're still watching the stream? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Whoa. I really I when I say that I was excited when he responded to when I bought a piece of his art, I really was excited because I saw all this and I'm like, this guy's a total celebrity. And then I see the check on his Twitter. I'm like, this guy's a celebrity. But anyway, that was exciting. And then, but it was more so like the art. And then I wanted to thank him on Twitter. I could probably find that original tweet. And then I'm like, he actually saw my tweet. So anyway, that's what the crypto art world is doing. It's really.
It looks like we finally have a decision from Easy. By the way, it looks like he went with the buttered salted popcorn.
Nice.
You go?
Looks like he just scooped that up, I think. So
Oh, thank you so much. Appreciate that.
We need to start treating this like QVC. I think we had someone. Holly, did you say that?
Going once, right here.
All right,
320,
guys.
330.
There's only 2 more buckets of popcorn. It's unlimited refills, but
you know what would be, you know what would be cool, and I'm curious. This might even be a strategy question for Brinkman too. What happens if we did a live auction inside voice chat in Discord? Like I think we saw the RNG Gallery do it with some artifact art that they put out to do a lot of virtual stuff. But that's something I've always been intrigued about doing too. Is maybe doing like a fun piece that's listed or not for sale, and then maybe just rocking a fun auction in here.
Auction, yeah.
I know
that they've done some stuff like that in Crypto Voxels, and I think was it Daniil? Is that how you say his name? Daniil Pan. He does.
Yeah, I'm not so sure.
He does a live auction type event. I think on Telegram. Yeah.
That would be cool if we did. Yeah. I'm thinking.
I'm collaborating with him at the moment right now as well.
Oh,
I don't know if that's. I think we just finished it today, but it's a 5-way collaboration between all of the cloud artists in the scene. I'm pretty excited about it.
Wow, that's going to be dope.
Everyone's up for it. Well, I honestly I gave him the floor and then we just took it back. So I apologize. I'll have to practice my Hot Ones outro next time. Next time I'll be way better.
If you keep letting me talk, I'm going to just keep telling you about all these different things I'm working on. It's.
Well, I mean, we do. It is 9, and we do know you have to be up for the day. Is it the Daily Show?
The Tonight Show.
Okay.
Yeah. We just finished. I finished about a half hour before this interview, but it'll air on TV in 2.5 hours.
Do you ever watch your stuff on when it airs, or does it get I feel like you've done it so many times that you're just meh.
I watch it occasionally. It depends.
Tell people that you're Bryan Brinkman, his skills are trial by fire. He's just refined day in, day out. So it's
yeah. I mean, I should also say, both The Tonight Show and SNL, I'm working with teams of artists that are all extremely talented and extremely good at collaborating. And so it's, I'm able to lean on not just the graphics team, but the researchers and the editors and the producers and the writers. And, it's a huge collaboration with, hundreds of people. And that's why we're able to make, I've worked on, 1,500 episodes of television or something. So it's it's everybody has to be working at their best in order to make this happen on a daily basis. And that's really the fun part is the collaboration and the teamwork of it all.
Right. Well, let us know when you warm them up to crypto, and it would be really what if we had the whole Brinkman team and anyway, I'm just wishful thinking, I guess. Wink. Can you see my eyeballs winking? No. But
I assume, given time, everyone will start to warm up to crypto. Yeah. Look at where we're at now compared to where it was 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at where we're at right now compared to where it was 3 months ago. It's rapidly evolving, and it's crazy how fast it's becoming mainstream.
Today's Mark Cuban tweet really has kind of solidified a lot, because he was kind of not a fan of crypto in the beginning, and to see him to have a full turnaround was kind of impressive. I don't know, anyway, so that I really do.
You got to remember he's an NBA team owner, and
I never put that connection.
He's wait a second,
you're good. Wow, that makes so much sense.
I think Top Shot being in the news certainly probably caught his ear.
Okay, that makes sense. He's wait, what?
So
what? Money? That much money?
There's the connection.
That's a lot of money.
But seeing him release on Rarible is not something I ever would have expected.
I did not. So. I'm wondering who went up to him and be hey man, you seen Rarible? I don't know why, but I saw it as a drug deal in my head. Hey man, you ever tried some Rarible? I don't know. I'm sorry,
but I think
too late over here.
But no, I think there's something exciting about, even if it's just for fun, what he's doing. It's still going to open this world to another couple thousand people
Yeah.
that might dive in
you-
and check it out.
Yeah, because you have to go back to think about the first either Twitter stream or the first like conversation where it started it all. Like I remember like my first NFT that started it all for, you know, and I almost want to do a series on just interviewing people in their first NFT and what that did and like
Yeah.
why they couldn't close Pandora's box again. Because I
I think that's a
know,
great idea. Yeah.
right? Like I
I love the
know,
idea of like a show and tell. You know?
yeah, like I know there's some stories out there that need to be told. And the thing is, they need to be heard too, because people need to understand what you found so special about NFTs. You know, because that will just unlock something in them. I mean, because I do know once they see it, like they'll understand, and it's always been the case. Once you get it, like you get it, and you're here to stay. And the more the merrier, honestly. Like we do love it, like, you know, having people in our discords, like, you know, roaming around all hours of the night, like just doing whatever. But you know, in the whole ecosystem, like I have 100 Discord channels, and it always pains me because I have to leave one to join another. But because they're all,
oh yeah, because you've maxed out,
yeah,
right?
they're all micro communities, and I'm like,
Amazing.
guys, no, you didn't make the cut this time. You know?
Yeah, I would say I feel like I join 2 Discords a week at this point.
Oh,
It's just
slow
like,
down, man.
yeah. But you know, each one is its own unique
Yeah.
space and has its own
Oh,
niche,
there's
and so I always find it interesting.
one not so unique thing, and Ben is in every one of them.
Yeah, pretty much. But that's how you know it's a good one.
Fixing someone's flat tire, old Ben,
Yeah.
helper. He's just a helper, man.
But
We
yeah,
love you,
no,
Ben.
I think no, that's a great point. And how people get hooked in. I think for artists, it's usually whenever they get a first sale, no matter how big or small. Once they understand that they can make
Mm-hmm.
money off digital art, which is something that almost never used to be the case unless you were doing commissions.
Mm-hmm. That era where people are going to be able to afford quality, you know, like all around the world. I know Magmaster and I have talked about it a lot here lately with the Whip Crew and all that. But yeah, I really feel like you're really connecting people to things that they've always, well, maybe they didn't know they wanted to be connected to, like me, like who wasn't really a big art fan to begin with. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I actually do like art. And I'm like, there's something inside of me that's like alive. I like this art, you know, like I don't want to say like I don't understand country music, so like I always thought people were just collectively lying to themselves. No judgment. I know it sounds crazy. It's just how my mind worked. And now I'm starting to actually understand country music. But that's how I thought about art. I'm like, it's just, you know, like but then I see art like Bryan Brinkman and I see Stena Jones, and I'm like, that actually like resonates with me. I actually had that aha moment, and I hope everyone has the same you know, kind of thing. I hope everyone can experience that, and I hope we can actually foster an environment that really does it for the mainstream. So, you know, with that said, I'm going to stop talking.
No, I think that's a great way of putting it. And in the same way that I think country music thrives because of the communal aspect of the shows.
Help me curb that a little bit.
No, I mean, I'm not a big country music fan, but I understand the appeal.
Mm-hmm.
The appeal is that you can go to an arena, have a beer, and hang out with friends and have a good time.
Oh yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
And the songs aren't going to challenge you too hard. You can just relax and let loose.
That's a great point.
And I think that is in the same vein as a lot of what's going on here, where it's not, you know, there's not a high degree of art understanding. You just have to know that you like the art and you can collect it and you can have that community and you can share it. I think, you know, there's something to that. There's also, you know, people that are going to go want to listen to Tool songs and, you know, look at the math of the chords and stuff. That's its own thing. But, you know, that's not you know, I've seen country shows and I've seen Tool shows, and one of them is much more challenging to watch and one of them is much more fun.
I can see that. That does make a lot of sense.
And I think my art probably falls into the much more fun aspect and the much more challenging aspect. Yeah. Sometimes I think the challenging stuff I like to talk about behind the scenes, but I want the art to be immediately enjoyable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I feel like we're getting like we can't top whatever you just said there. So like this is like I always see like conversations almost like a symphony, like, and it's just like that. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
And I mean, with that, I really I want to thank you again for setting aside time. I know you have a busy schedule. We had to shift this one towards the evening because of it. Normally they're in
I appreciate it.
11
Yeah.
a.m.
Thanks
It's a
for dealing
pleasure.
with me.
No, absolute pleasure. I know everyone on the team, most of the team over in the UK are sleeping. They would send their
Except Holly. Holly's up hanging out.
Yeah, everyone give a huge shout out
it's
to
like
Holly.
2:15 in the morning. Can we get a big shout out to Holly?
Yeah.
Little Holly
Thank you,
spam
Holly.
chat.
We love you, Holly.
And voice. We love.
Shout out to all the people globally that aren't on this time zone.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Thank
everybody.
you.
Shout out to the listeners afterwards.
I just got a text from my girlfriend while I'm on the show. She goes, "Shout out to Holly."
You get more love, Holly. Again, yeah, from all the team sleeping and awake, like we really appreciate you doing this and being a part of the platform and the ecosystem that we're all a part of. So with that, again,
and we got to give a special shout out to Easy for scooping up a nice Brinkman piece. He finally went with the popcorn. So that's awesome. Good. And obviously, Brian, I want to say myself, thanks for coming on. You've been just rapidly growing in this space. I think your character and your personality and just the humble nature of yourself and the fun art you present is just a major contribution to the art side of the blockchain space. So super, super thanks for coming on and hanging out with us tonight.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
For sure. Absolutely.
And now everyone should go over to the Token Smart and check out Stella Bell's thing. Keep supporting artists.
Yeah, 100%. And I have to say, for people that are on now, we are going to be doing these daily during the weekdays for about the next 10 days or so. We're not doing them on the weekends, so don't look out for it there. But not to interject on anything here, but those that are wondering if this is something that we're going to be consistently doing, we shall be back here in the morning at 11 a.m. Eastern, with Arc4G. So, going back to Brinkman, check out his work. Again, I say this for all artists that come on and for the community. If you're new to collecting art or new to flipping or just want to experiment, definitely check out a Brinkman piece. He's been notorious for his popularity across several art platforms in the space. He's brand new to Terra Virtua. And so these pieces that he has put up obviously run parallel to the whole movie thing that we have going on with our licenses with Paramount Legendary. So if you want to start your collection or add to your collection, super big recommendation to pick up a Brinkman piece while they last, because these are exclusive pieces.
Unlimited refills.
Inspired by Terra Virtua.
There we go. All right.